Let's talk to, I think it's Connell. Connell is calling in from Florida. Connell, you are live on our Halloween episode of Truth Wanted. How's it going?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing good. Glad we got to connect with you here. You are of the land of the living currently. We are not contacting you from the dead. We might contact some spirits from the dead, but I'm glad you're here in the world of the living with us. What's going on tonight?
So am I. All right. Well, I think I should preface this by saying that I called the ExXtian live right before this, and I guess they were just too full for this question. So I'm not too familiar with Truth Wanted, but they were the ones that referred me to you guys. So I'll just tell you what I was going to tell them, which is that I'm an atheist. My father is a devout Irish Catholic, and he does not have long to live. He's never picked up on the quote-unquote warning signs. I'm pretty sure my mom's figured it out by now that I'm atheist. But I think he's either in denial or just doesn't know. And it would break his heart, and figuratively and possibly literally, because it would upset him tremendously, and to the point where it would affect his health, I think. And I don't know. I feel that the conversation about faith and afterlife possibly is inevitable, and I'm not going to bring it up. But if he does, and he asks me a direct question, I have a very hard time lying to anybody, never mind my father. But I would, what if he were to ask me, Connell, what do you think heaven is going to be like for me? I'm like, shit. I mean, that's tough.
That is tough. Yeah. That is tough. And Connell, I can relate to you personally on this. I had a family member pass away just a couple of weeks ago. I kind of have this kind of, I don't want to say tap dance, but that's kind of what it is around family, because, death is a hard thing to deal with, whether you're an atheist or you're a Christian, right? Like, it's a thing that's not great. It sucks for everybody involved. And it's even harder when you have different ideas of like what happens afterwards, right? And atheism in itself has no preference of ethics on how to handle a situation like this, right? There's no book that's going to tell you, okay, here's how you talk to somebody about this. You kind of have to figure out what's going to be best for your own personal situation. So I can tell you how I handled it for myself. I kept my mouth shut about it until somebody really wanted to know what I thought about it. Because otherwise, I didn't feel like I was going to do much for my family and the folks around me that were grieving, right? People are already going to have some of those beliefs. And you just kind of have to, in situations like this, I'm okay with them working through their grief in their own ways. And that's just me. That's just me. Other people might feel differently about it. Now, I'm not going to lie to somebody and say, yeah, I think this person's in heaven right now. If somebody told me, hey, can you talk about how great this person was and how they're in heaven? I'm not going to do that, because that's going to go against my own sense of what I believe is true. But if they asked me if I could talk about this person and what they were like in life, I would be happy to do that. And I think that's what that kind of the grieving and memorial process should be, in my view, right? It should be talking about how that person lived and how you can best celebrate that. But other people are obviously going to feel differently about it. So you don't want to compromise your sense of self just because there's pressure from other people around you who feel differently. I don't believe you should do that. But it doesn't help to read it can help to read the room sometimes too, right? It's pretty difficult.
Let me interrupt you. I wasn't speaking of relatives and whatnot. I was talking about my dad between now and when he died. Of course, I mean, I already know that I can't look at him in the eye and be like, hey, Dad, I'm an atheist, considering, what it could potentially do to him at this stage. So I guess maybe I'm looking for advice as
what's the benefit? What's the benefit of telling him of letting him know that this is something? Because like for me, I know what the benefit was for me for telling people that. It's because I want people to know this is who I am, and I feel like this is a part of me. Is that what this is for you? Do you just want him to know like this is just who you are, or what's the benefit of telling him that?
None. None. It's more of a. It's just difficult for me to lie, especially to him. I really have a very different. I've made a promise to myself a long time ago that I would not lie anymore.
Well, is it lying to say that you're not sure? Is it lying to say that you're not sure that there's an afterlife? I mean, is that kind of softer language better? Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, to answer your question, no, that's great. Mm-hmm. And I think really what I'm looking for is more of how to approach it, not whether I'm going to come out as an atheist or not. How to
Yeah. I'll give my piece on it, and then I want to give Puck and Erin the chance to talk on this. But yeah, like I think it's totally okay to be in the realm of focusing on yourself and your personal views of it, rather than make like deliberate statements of fact about everybody. Like, yeah, we're all not going to go anywhere, Dad. Like, this is it. This is all we have. You just have to accept that, versus saying like, well, I'm just not sure about an afterlife. I'm open to other ideas about that, but I can't say one way or another. I think that's an honest way to approach it still, where you're not completely denying somebody's worldview, but like I said, instead just giving yourself a chance to express how you feel, because everybody has a right to express how they feel about stuff like this, right? I think everybody could, has a right to that, but also like it gives you a chance to kind of be honest and have that conversation. I think, I can't tell you what your dad is like, but I think most parents would rather want to at least have that conversation with their kids and at least have the opportunity for that, rather than be afraid to talk about it in the first place. Because I know that with my parents personally, they didn't like the fact that I hid it from them for a long time. They didn't understand how painful it was for me to hide that. And I wish I could have came out a little bit more gradually. So maybe this is an opportunity to kind of give things out more gradually, by just approaching it this single topic. But it's definitely complicated. Anyway, I want to give Puck and Erin a chance to respond.
Well, I appreciate your time.
Mm-hmm. Puck, Erin, do you guys have anything to say? If you guys are talking, I can't hear you right now. There you go.
So my views on like kind of end of life care are a little bit maybe different than other people would. Like at that moment when someone you love is going through that, I think that the most important thing is to think about like the harm and benefit of it all. I personally, I feel like I wouldn't probably bring something like that up in that phase, like near the end there, when really it's just all about comfort and family and all of those kind of things. Like I know I totally get that there's like this desire to be authentic to, especially your parent. Of course you want them to know you for who you really are and where you stand on positions. But I think that when it comes to end of care or end of life care, I think that we're kind of looking at harm reduction here. And I think you had mentioned that like it could break their heart, both kind of metaphorically and possibly physically. So I would just err on the side of caution about easing, the discomfort that person is feeling near the end of their life. I would maybe worry less about making sure that they knew exactly where I stood on things, or even the opportunity for them to maybe like have any self-reflection or introspection about their own beliefs. I think it's maybe not the appropriate time for that. That's kind of where I stand on that.
I agree. I agree completely. Yeah, I think like I said, I think more what I'm looking for is maybe, and I love the advice the gentleman, I'm sorry, I don't know his name, that I just spoke to gave me about, just just choosing my words carefully and not not just comforting him and saying that I'm not or something like that. But no, I agree 100% that there would be no benefit whatsoever for me.
Yeah, you can take a little bit more of an ambiguous stance on it if someone were to ask you like a direct question, like especially in that scenario, I think it would be advisable to just keep it a little bit more ambiguous and just say like, I don't, I've thought about this too and what I would say, and I think I would just keep it in kind of like that, no one really knows, and I'm really glad that you have your hopes for like what happens afterwards, and maybe I even to comfort them, I would even say like, I hope you're right, but I don't think that it's the same scenario as a regular day-to-day interaction that you would have with somebody who asks you point blank what your beliefs are. I really do take the view of kind of like the harm reduction, especially when someone's going through that. It's really hard to I mean, end of life stuff is tricky, and it's all about kind of being there to comfort and remembering your family and the good times. It's kind of not an opportune moment to talk about having valid true beliefs.
Yeah, I agree. And like at a certain point, like I've been in a similar situation before where someone was concerned about my my atheism, because unlike you, I've been out for quite some time. Almost all of my family knows, my friends know. So for me, it's my family, it's not quite a shock, but there was a time when it was. And I remember one of the things I said was, if there is a God and there is a good God, they will know that I dedicated my life to trying to be as nice and kind to people as possible, and that I am genuinely and honestly and earnestly searching, and that I still have plenty of time to go, and there's no way I can know what's going to happen in the future. But if there is a good God, then a good God would know what to do. That's me, and not everybody would do it that way. But like I said, I mean, there's comes a certain time where it's not so much about representing who I am, but about making sure whoever it is comfortable.
Well, I use that argument often. But yeah, all right, great. Thanks, guys. I don't want to take up too much of other call times.
I appreciate you thinking about us, though, Connell. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Connell. Thanks so much for talking with us.